Warning: the following video contains frank discussions of both sexual harassment and sexual assault. Viewer discretion is advised. I had actually already filmed something for this previously in the week, and right before I started editing it, so much more began happening, and so I felt like I had to refilm it just to make sure that what I'm going to talk about is as up-to-date as possible. Recently, a YouTuber named Sam Pepper made a video where he walked around in a public space and grabbed women's asses without their consent, and then acted as if he didn't know what they were talking about when they asked him if he did that. The video got considerable backlash, as it should have, and eventually it was removed from YouTube. Several big-name YouTube personalities began calling out Sam for his actions and denouncing him, and it even got to the point where Hank Green on his Twitter strongly implied that Sam would not be allowed in future VidCons. An implication, by the way, that, according to a recent Tumblr post, Hank still stands by. However, instead of apologizing for his actions, Sam uploaded what apparently was part 2 of a 3-part series, even though he never really implied that the original was a part 1 of anything. And in the supposed second part, Sam did a role reversal and had one of his female friends go around and grab guys' butts instead. And then in part 3, he revealed that he had swindled us all, for you see, it was just a social experiment. According to Sam, he made this social experiment in order to show the differences between what happens when a woman is sexually harassed and when a man is sexually harassed. The problem with this, though, and it's only the first of many, believe me, is that sexual harassment is still wrong, no matter what the gender of the perpetrator or the victim. It's still wrong in any sense. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for bringing up the often ignored and trivialized abuse of men, but even if this was Sam's grand master plan from the very beginning, it was still all in extremely poor taste. And if you analyze everything a little bit more closely, there are actually some huge problems with this experiment and how you executed the whole thing, Sam. For one thing, if this was indeed meant to be a big social experiment, why did you wait so long between uploading part 1 and part 2? Could you not have put all 3 parts together as one big video, or at least uploaded them all on the same day? It just makes it look like you legitimately tried to do a prank video, and the response went nuclear, and so you came up with this social experiment plan as a fallback because things didn't quite go your way. Also, if this was all just to prove a point about sexual harassment and sexual assault and how big of an issue it really is, then why did you leave the ads running on the video so you could profit from it? Is any of that money going to a charity like RAIN, or is it all just going into your pocket? All that your social experiment really proved, Sam, is that sexual harassment stirs the pot, gets views, and gets money. Not to mention that, even if it was all staged and part of a social experiment, did we really need a 3-part video to figure out that sexual harassment is wrong? Oh, thank you, Sam Pepper. Without your guiding light and your infinite wisdom, I would have never figured out that I shouldn't grab somebody's ass in broad daylight. But let's just give you the benefit of the doubt for a second and just assume that this was all part of your plan and all big social experiments and all to prove a point and try to do some good in the world. So what about the other examples of you sexually assaulting women on YouTube? Sam Pepper has also made a video where he lassos women in the streets and physically restrains them, and another where he handcuffs himself to unsuspecting women and insists that they're dating now. And that's just a couple of those videos that fall under that umbrella. In the latter of these 2 videos that I mentioned, he refuses to release himself from one woman until she kisses him on the lips. Now, I'm not a lawyer or anything, so my legal definitions might be a bit fuzzy, but I'm pretty sure this qualifies as sexual assault. Something else I want to bring up is a recent video by This Be Dottie where she revealed the story of when she met Sam Pepper at a YouTube meet and greet, and they agreed to go to the movies together because he made it aware that he was attracted to her, even though he was 23 and she was 16. Since that video came out, Kal-El Kitten, who many probably know from her relationship with Anthony from Smosh, has gone on record to say that Dottie, quote, could be lying. The justification for this is that we weren't there, and we don't know the whole story, and there are 2 sides to every story, and yada yada yada. Maybe so, but you know what? If someone told me that they were put into an uncomfortable situation like Dottie described, or worse, then I would much rather take their claims seriously and believe them until proven otherwise. What I don't think Kal-El realizes is that by saying that Dottie could be lying, she's undermining and delegitimizing Dottie's claim that Sam Pepper tried to force himself on her. I'm gonna link Dottie's video down below so you can go watch it when you're done here, and I'm pretty sure she could use the support, especially considering some of the victim blaming that's going on in some of her comments. Overall, this situation with Sam Pepper is not an isolated incident, and it's representative of a much larger problem of abuse on YouTube. The public outcry against Sam Pepper by big-name YouTubers is great, don't get me wrong, it truly is, but I just wish we had the same kind of support from big-name YouTubers when people like Alex Day, Ed Bland, and Tom Milsom, among others, were getting called out for their awful actions. I think it's very, very important and critical at this point in time for big-name YouTubers to make videos about this. Videos that directly and explicitly address not only what Sam Pepper has done, but the larger problem of abuse on YouTube. No more of this vague beating around the bush talking about consent bullshit. Sam Pepper has taken advantage of women both on YouTube and through YouTube, and he needs to be called out for these actions on the exact same platform. Doing so on YouTube would have a far greater impact than doing so on Twitter or Tumblr. All of you big name YouTubers have the power to make a positive change in this community right now. You with your large audiences and your great influences that could share a positive message with millions and millions of people that this atrocious behavior by people like Sam Pepper will not be tolerated. In light of everything that has happened in this community and continues to happen in this community, this needs to be addressed by its leaders. Because if not now, then when?